The greatest moment at 6 Seattle Stadium took place on April 11, 1969. Prior to the '69 season, 6 Seattle Stadium was the home to one of the Pacific Coast League's elite teams, the Seattle Rainiers. From 1938 to 1966, the Rainiers would finish in first 8 times and win 5 league titles. Then in 1967, Major League Baseball's front office agreed to add 4 more franchises for the '69 season. Former Cleveland Indians owner William Daley, who a couple years earlier attempted to move his team to Seattle, led a consortium to achieve a franchise in the 1969 expansion. He would succeed, and the Emerald City finally had a Major League ball club, which would be named the Seattle Pilots. The team played their first game on April 8, 1969 on the road against the California Angels, beating them by a score of 4-3. The Angels won the next game, and after an off day, the Pilots would play their home opener against the Chicago White Sox. 14,993 fans came to the ballpark for the first Major League game to be played in the Pacific Northwest, and it would be a game to remember. Starting for the Pilots was former Indian and 3-time All-Star Gary Bell against former 19-game winner Joe Horwin. The first batter of the game was Louis Aparicio, who Bell would retire on a groundout. The White Sox wouldn't score, and in the bottom half of the first, Tommy Harper led off as the ballpark's first Major League home hitter and beat out a ground ball to Aparicio for the park's first Major League hit. Harper then stole second base and 2 outs later scored on a single by Rich Rollins to give the Pilots a 1-0 lead. The White Sox posted a threat in the top of the second when Buddy Bradford led off with a single and stole second. Ken Berry came up and advanced Bradford to third on a groundout, but Bell would get out of trouble when he retired Sandy Alomar on a groundout and Horwin on a fly ball. The White Sox mounted another threat in the third when Carlos May came to the plate and beat out a ground ball to shortstop Ray Oyler. Bill Melton would come up and hit a double to center to send May to third. With the tying and go-ahead runs now in scoring position, Bell intentionally walked Gale Hopkins to load the bases and would get out of the jam by striking out Don Pavletich and Buddy Bradford. Then in the bottom of the third, Mike Hegan led off with a walk, and 1 out later, Don Mincher came to the plate and launched a ball over the fence for the park's first Major League home run, giving the Pilots a 3-0 lead. Bell kept the White Sox bats in check for the next 3 innings, but would get into trouble again the 6th. The Pilots still led 3-0 when Alomar came to the plate with 2 outs and singled to center, and pinch hitter Walt Williams hit a double to left to send Alomar to third and bring the tying run to the plate in Aparicio. But Bell would get little Louis to fly out, and Seattle was within 9 outs of a victory. The Pilots then posted a threat in the bottom half. Jerry McNertney would come to the plate with 2 out and Rollins on first, and after a balk sent Rollins to second, McNertney singled to left to give the Pilots a 4-0 lead. After a hit by Oyler put runners on first and second, Gary Bell came up and hit a double to center to clear the bases to give Seattle a 6-0 lead, and Tommy Harper would single to center to make it a 7-0 game. The lead was enough for Bell, who would go the distance for a complete game shutout and open 6 Seattle Stadium with a win. The Pilots went on to win 64 games that year, but due to financial problems, the front office would sell the team to a Milwaukee-based group headed by car salesman Bud Selig. Selig had been a minority owner of the Milwaukee Braves and had led unsuccessful attempts to keep the team from moving to Atlanta, and since then had been working to bring Major League Baseball back to Milwaukee. By spring training of 1970, Selig would succeed in moving the team, and the Pilots became the Milwaukee Brewers. This created a lot of backlash in the Northwest as the city of Seattle, King County, and the state of Washington would sue the American League for breach of contract. The lawsuit continued for 6 years, and at trial, the American League would offer to give Seattle a new major league team in return for dropping the suit. Details were ironed out over the next year, and Seattle was awarded a new ball club, which would be called the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners played their first game on April 6, 1977, and became a proud franchise, as they would host 2 All-Star games, produce 3 Rookies of the Year, 2 Most Valuable Players, a Cy Young winner, 2 All-Star Game MVPs, a Wild Card Championship, and 3 division titles, which included a Major League record-tying season of 116 wins in 2001.